Some say that manifestation has the power to change your reality, while others believe it's a hoax. Does our mind truly have the ability to shape our future? Could our thoughts and beliefs be holding us back from reaching our full potential in life? Is manifestation just a myth, or is there science that could support it? In this episode, we'll explore these questions and more. My goal is to provide you with a clear understanding of how manifestation influences our reality, whether it's worth practicing, and how we can incorporate it in our daily lives. So stay tuned because we are about to have a reality check. Jim Carrey is one of the most famous advocates of manifestation. Long before he became a Hollywood star, he wrote himself a check for $10 million dollars for acting services rendered, and he dated it for 5 years in the future. This practice helped him to visualize himself as a successful actor, and years later, specifically 4 years later, he landed a role in Dumb and Dumber, earning exactly $10 million dollars. Oprah Winfrey has spoken openly about the power of intention and manifestation. She believes that the energy that we put out into the world comes right back to us, and she has credited her success to setting clear intentions. She said, create the highest, grandest vision possible for your life because you become what you believe. Now, there are many examples like these, and another one that stands out for me is Conor McGregor, the UFC champion who used visualization techniques for years, imagining himself winning fights long before they even happened. He has spoken about how he used the law of attraction to build his career. So let's try to understand what manifestation is. At its core, it's a practice of bringing your thoughts, your intentions, desires into reality through focus, positive thinking, and inspired action. It is based on the belief that what we focus on kind of turns into reality, whether we want it or we don't, which means it can work in both directions. If you focus on growth and future goals, you're putting your energy toward making them happen. However, if you focus your energy on negativity and self doubt, you're directing your energy towards self sabotage. The process of manifestation is rooted in the idea that your mind has the power to shape your reality. But is it actually possible? Is there any truth to this? Let's take a step back and explore how manifestation might actually work in real world. So when we have a thought in our mind or receive a new information, our brain has a way of filtering that information or thought using an actual biological filter known as Reticular Activating System, or RAS. The RAS is a network of neurons located in the brainstem that acts as a filter for the millions of pieces of information that we receive every second of our life. Now, it helps to determine what is important to us and what can be ignored. This, in a way, helps our brain in shaping our focus, attention, and reality by paying attention to information that is important to us over something that has no value for our existence or adds no benefits to our future development. And this explains why, when we focus on the details of our goals or desires, our brain understands what we exactly want and directs our attention to things that align with those thoughts and ideas. So, for example, if we decide to buy a specific car, let's say a red Honda, we suddenly start seeing a lot more red Hondas on the road than ever before. Is it because there are more red Hondas on the road suddenly? No, but because our brain has now been trained to notice red Hondas. Your RAS, the Reticular Activating System, filters in information that aligns with your focus, helping you to stay on track with your goal, in this case, buying a red Honda. Now, because you're constantly forced to think about it, you begin to take steps toward making it a reality. And probably this is exactly how the marketing world works. When you are repeatedly exposed to a brand through advertisements, your brain becomes biased toward it. When you go for shopping, your RAS will naturally make you gravitate toward the brand you have been exposed to multiple times. Your RAS is constantly looking for evidence to reinforce your existing thoughts and beliefs. And I can totally relate to this. And here's a funny story about it. After our marriage, my wife used to tell me that she was always unlucky when it came to flying. She believed that every time she flew, her flight would be delayed by hours. And for her, this was just a norm. So at first, I didn't want to believe that. But over time, I started experiencing the impact of her belief firsthand. Every time we got to the airport, she would say, "With my luck, the flight is going to be delayed." And sure enough, the flight was delayed every single time. If it had happened once, I would have called it a coincidence. But every time? Now that couldn't be just chance. And to be really honest about it, before I started traveling with my wife, I never had delayed flights. And that's why this experience really stood out to me. So we just spoke about RAS. Now there's another way manifestation works in our life, and that's through a process called confirmation bias. It's a tendency to look for, interpret, and remember information in a way that supports our existing beliefs while ignoring evidence that contradicts them. In other words, we understand information in a way that aligns with our views. We remember facts in a way that aligns with our beliefs. And we purposefully forget or dismiss those that challenge our beliefs in order to sustain our existing mindset. You probably know this already. It's often referred to as selective memory. Now imagine if our brain has the ability to reinforce our thoughts and beliefs by interpreting information in a way that aligns with our expectations. What if we use this to channel ourselves toward achieving higher goals and overcoming challenges in our lives? A common example for confirmation bias is how people tend to follow news sources that reinforce their political views while ignoring opposing perspectives, often dismissing them as irrelevant. Another example is someone who believes a specific diet works. They may seek out success stories that support the diet while ignoring research that questions its effectiveness. So we just covered RAS and confirmation bias and how it impacts manifestation. Now let's talk about one of the strongest driving forces of manifestation. It's known as the law of attraction. It simply suggests that like will attract like, meaning that positive thoughts will bring more positive experiences, while negative thoughts will attract negative experiences. So, technically speaking, when we dwell in past unfavorable experiences, our mind makes an effort to restrain us from going in that direction at all by reinforcing thoughts of embarrassment and shame. See, what's happening here is the experience and thoughts that we focus on, especially those that are tied to strong emotions from the past, rewire our brain by creating new neural pathways and then strengthening them through constant reinforcement. This is a very well known process called neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity, in general form, helps us to learn new skills by making permanent structural changes in our brain, which is a good thing. And it works in a similar way when shaping our thoughts and beliefs. So if you dwell in those past experiences that were not favorable to you, then you're just constantly reinforcing the idea that going that route again is going to give you the same outcome, which is highly unlikely. And this is why when people fail at something, it leaves a permanent mark in their mind. And every time they think about it, they keep reinforcing the thought or the idea or that experience, creating a permanent structural change in your brain. And this is exactly how you can harness the power of manifestation because your brain has the ability to focus on what you want to focus and make changes in your brain, like permanent structural changes, to help you reinforce your belief and ideas until it becomes your reality. Therefore, for manifestation to work, it's not just about believing a goal is possible. You need to start feeling as if it's already happening. Visualizing and experiencing the emotions of success will help you to reinforce new neural connections in the brain. Our emotions play a crucial role in making our beliefs stronger. Think about the moments in life that you can never forget, like the rush of excitement when you got your first job, or witnessing a serious road accident, or an embarrassing moment that still makes you cringe. These experiences created lasting structural changes in your brain, and the more you dwell on them, the more deeply ingrained they become. Similarly, when you attach emotions to your future goals, you train your brain to believe in them strongly, reinforcing your ideas and belief. And in turn, your brain starts seeking opportunities that align with your goals by constantly directing your attention to things that support your values and beliefs. And with that, I hope now it's clear how the RAS, confirmation bias, and the law of attraction all play a role in shaping the process of manifestation. And now that we understand how manifestation works to turn the thoughts, ideas, and goals into reality, let's focus on how to practice it effectively. Number one, be specific about your future intentions. Don't make vague statements about what you want. Instead, be clear and detailed in your visualization. Believe that your goal is already out there and you just need to map out the path to reach it. For example, instead of saying, I want a better job than this, be specific. Say, I'm going to have a job where I'm going to earn X dollars in an environment where people respect and value each other. I will have great flexibility to spend time with family and friends without stressing about work. Now, moving on to number two, write your goals down and use them as affirmations. After you write your goals down, keep them somewhere you can easily see them every day. Every time you glance at them, read them and truly absorb their meaning. Feel the emotions of achieving those goals, and if possible, read them out loud to yourself. This practice helps rewire your brain to believe in this reality. So, for example, if you want to become a confident speaker, write it down. Every time you read it, act as if you already are a confident speaker. Visualize yourself embodying the traits of a great speaker: the poise, the clarity, the presence. The more you align yourself with this version of yourself, the more likely you are to manifest it into reality. So remember, if you set limitations to your thoughts, you set limitations to your reality. Number three, take inspired action. What do I mean by this? If you truly believe your goals will become reality, you must start taking actions that align with that belief. And here's a good example. If you know that you'll be attending a friend's wedding across the country next month, you'll start preparing for it, right? You'll book the airline tickets, reserve a hotel room, go shopping for clothes, handling other responsibilities, and arranging childcare if you have kids. Taking inspired action works the same way. It means acting in anticipation of your thoughts and beliefs becoming reality. You can't just wish for a better job and expect it to happen. You need to update your resume, start networking, and look for opportunities, right? Simply hoping for something without action is called wishful thinking, not manifestation. Moving to number four, believe and trust the process. The biggest reason people fail at manifestation is lack of trust. Manifestation requires unwavering faith along with inspired action. You must understand that change doesn't happen overnight, but your beliefs and actions are paving the way to your goals. Think of it like planting a seed, okay? It doesn't grow into a plant or tree the next day. It needs consistent care, watering, and plenty of sunlight. If you nurture it properly, you'll soon see it sprout from the ground. And before you know it, it will grow into a thriving plant or a tree. Manifestation works the same way. Stay committed, take action, and trust the process. And number five, show gratitude. This is probably one of the most powerful and undervalued practices in the world. Too often, we focus on what others have and how we can attain it, rather than pausing to reflect on our own achievements. and being grateful for how far we have come. Gratitude creates the positive energy within us that radiates outward, which attracts even more positivity in return. Does that sound familiar? This is the law of attraction in action. However, when we focus on other people's successes with jealousy or envy, we invite negative energy into our lives. This energy leads to unhealthy competition, bitterness, and resentment, which ends up repelling people and opportunities from our lives. Gratitude has a power of shifting your energy from a place of absence to abundance, promoting a mindset that draws positive experiences and relationships into your life. There you have it. 5 key practices that you can implement right away to make manifestation more effective. The 5 key practices that we spoke about are: 1. Be specific about your future intentions. 2. Write your goals down and use them as affirmations. 3. Take inspired action. 4. Believe and trust in the process. 5. Show gratitude. And before we wrap up, don't overthink the process of manifestation. Instead, focus on visualizing your goals with as much detail and emotion as possible, and do it frequently with conviction. Think of it like a home renovation project. When you're remodeling a kitchen, right, you first visualize the final outcome, right, how it's going to look at the end. And then you ingrain that vision in your mind. This clarity in your mind keeps you focused, helping you to avoid distractions and unnecessary choices along the way. And it ensures that every decision that you make aligns with your dream kitchen. Without that initial vision, the end result will be shaped by others' ideas instead of your own. The same applies to your life. If you don't start with a clear vision, your future will be shaped by outside influences. So take control, believe deeply in your thoughts, ideas, and goals, and act accordingly. You've been a wonderful listener, and thank you for listening to this episode on manifestation. Until next time, keep envisioning and keep taking inspired action. Thank you.